It's day 293.
of the 29th year and beyond. Well, today I wanted to sort of go back because we're getting closer to the end of our vlog.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to talk about that period of time shortly after we had John when I sort of lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time period, I mean, um, this wasn't anything that I was really interested in. I loved him, but the attraction.
You said this wasn't anything I was really interested in. And you know, I've said, I think in an earlier vlog, after John was born, it was just like, okay, I have my child, I'm done with you. I just need you to kill bugs and take care
But
of the
see,
lawn.
and it wasn't so much John, but it was everything else because you were going through like this time when you were trying to figure out exactly what you wanted to do. You were just beginning to get into the ministry stuff, and he's this person that jumps all in with everything. So I felt like I was being neglected. I mean, there were times I thought he was gay. There were times I thought he was having an affair. There were times that I just thought he just didn't love me anymore. Insanity. And I just, how did you deal with that?
And this is where it gets back to the commitment piece and the genuine love. Because I know that after the birth of John, and not so much Amber,
No.
Amber was smooth sailing.
Back to work.
It was smooth sailing.
Yeah.
But after the birth of John, there was so many different things that occurred where you went through, I would say, I don't know, an evolution, metamorphosis, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of things that occurred, and I would have to say postpartum was definitely playing a part in that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the thing. For people who think that love relationships are cakewalk, nothing could be further from the truth. And so, when you and I got married, my mindset always was one time. I was not going to be the guy that had 2 and 3 different marriages. I mean, that for me, it was just about, okay, choose wisely, partner with somebody and make the commitment, and then you got to make it work.
Right.
And so you have to stick through the tough stuff. And that's why for folks who get married based on what I would say superficial things or things that are not a strong foundation. If you're getting married because of how attractive someone is, or because they have money, or because you have a child.
Right.
There are people that get married because they have a child. And this may sound strange to a lot of you, but even because you have a child, it's not a strong foundation for a marriage. Because all you will do if you don't have that foundation to build on, and then when the storms of life come, you don't have that foundation to be anchored in, you're just inviting other elements and other people into your confusion, into your mess, and now you're hooked up with somebody that you don't want to be married to,
Right.
but you have this child. I mean, it just becomes more and more and more layers of mess.
Agreed,
Yeah.
100%. And that's really what I wanted to get to because, as we have blogged about different things, we surface touch stuff. But when you really get down to what it really was like, try living in a house with someone that, talks to you but really doesn't have any kind of connection to you. Then they've got this child that's crying and they're going through a time themselves. And I mean, it was a time of distrust. It was a time of confusion. It was just a really challenging time. But through it all, every day I love you. Every day, still hug and a kiss. He still opened doors for me. He still everything he does now he did then.
Because this is the thing. When you know who you are, you govern yourself by your core values.
Right.
And so because even when you're talking about your spouse may have changed, that shouldn't change you. You should still be authentically who you are.
That's right.
And that's who I was. In the midst of the wonderful stuff and in the midst of the most horrific stuff, I was authentically who I was
That's right.
and who I am.
That's right. And still handsome and yellow.
Yeah. And still willing to deal with crazy. If necessary. Until tomorrow, if the Lord says the same.
Bye.